Our opening words are from Elizabeth Alexander. The poem is called Praise Song for the Day, and this poem was read at Barack Obama's presidential inauguration. Each day we go about our business, walking past each other, catching each other's eyes or not, about to speak or speaking. All about us is noise. All about us is noise and bramble, thorn and din, each one of our ancestors on our tongues. Someone is stitching up a hem, darning a hole in a uniform, patching a tire, repairing the things in need of repair. Someone is trying to make music somewhere with a pair of wooden spoons on an oil drum, with cello, boombox, harmonica, voice. A woman and her son wait for the bus. A farmer considers the changing sky. A teacher says, take out your pencils, begin. We encounter each other in words. Words spiny or smooth, whispered or declaimed, words to consider, reconsider. Praise song for the struggle. Praise song for the day. Praise song for every hand-lettered sign, the figuring it out at kitchen tables. Some live by love thy neighbor as thyself. Others by first, do no harm or take no more than you need. What if the mightiest word is love? Love beyond marital, filial, national, love that casts a widening pool of light, love with no need to preempt grievance. In today's sharp sparkle, this winter air, anything can be made, any sentence begun, on the brink, on the brim, on the cusp. Praise song for walking forward in that light. For those of you keeping track, this is the second time I am leading the service and delivering the platform address here at West. I've been here since the beginning of September, and Amanda's away this Sunday, so I decided I'm going to do things differently. No, really, I do have Amanda's approval on all the quirky things I'm doing here, but one of the really great things about being an intern is that I get to try new, different things, switch up the order of the service, show up with lunch boxes and decorations, give you raisins for unclear reasons, and you get to graciously put up with these experiments and tell me what you think. Today, I've divided the platform address into two parts, with a meditation and music after the first part, and an activity after the second. I think it's helpful to have a roadmap so we all know where we're headed, and so we can allow ourselves to experience this time we have with one another fully. Our theme for the month of December is all, and we have found ourselves together on this first day of the final month of 2019. Last weekend, during our Stone Soup celebration, I was struck by the ways the telling of the story, the embodiment of the actions, the eating of the soup, it brought the concepts we were celebrating to life. Gratitude and community showed up in real, visceral ways all morning. And next Sunday, we will celebrate Winter Festival here. It will be my first Winter Festival, but what I hear from all of you is the ways it brings the meaning of this season to life. When we can experience something, when we feel it, even in small ways, it helps us to know it and look for it and create it in other places in our lives. So I started wondering, what if we could bring awe and wonder in here this morning? What if we could embody an experience of awe right here in the main hall? If I was a really good intern, that might have cued some amazing pyrotechnic display involving inspiring wonder and filling you with a sense of amazement or admiration. Or maybe I could inspire awe through stories and pictures about looking out at the Grand Canyon, or swimming with dolphins, or visiting the Taj Mahal. But I've never been to the Grand Canyon, or the Taj Mahal. I've never gone swimming with dolphins, and I definitely don't have the budget for any sort of amazing light display. So instead, I'll tell you this story. When I was 9 years old, I sat doing homework with my mother at the kitchen table. It was a cool October day. The leaves were crisp, the wind gusting, and the sky was a sharp, clear blue. As I looked out the window, I saw that the wind was gathering the leaves and pulling them into little tornadoes, so the leaves danced and spun dramatically in the air. I don't know why, but I jumped up and ran out the door, yelling, "I'll be right back." And once outside, I stood in my bare feet, eyes closed, arms outstretched, chest skyward, soaking in something vast and powerful. It was awe, I think, that filled me in that moment. I had been outside in the autumn wind many times before. I had seen the leaves blowing, of course, and the sunshine was not something new to me. But something about that moment struck me as so powerful that I remember it all these years later. Something about that moment was so powerful that I remember it as a critical moment through which I came to know myself and my world. I think of moments when awe appears as a kind of grace. I was talking with a seminary friend about her sermon on awe, and she said she believes awe tells us that the universe is vast and beautiful and that we belong. She believes we experience awe when we feel small but not alone. I think we can experience awe in those serendipitous happenings we don't understand, moments of synchronicity or timing that seem too odd or beautiful to just be chance. I feel awe when I am surprised by small things becoming beautiful and important. Moments of awe and wonder feel to me like life letting me know she has my back, even when I'm not expecting it. Even when I feel alone or hopeless, awe can appear in the tiny, beautiful moments. I like to think that life slips me moments of awe like a parent might slip notes into a child's lunchbox to help them through the day. Those notes won't help her pass her math test. They won't make his bullies go away, but they are a breath in the midst of it all that says, "You are loved. I can't fight the demons for you, but oh, buddy, I have your back." Because even on my worst days, I can find awe in the little moments. Awe lives in the details of our lives, and perhaps our job is just to find the space to take a breath and discover the beautiful or extraordinary right here where it has always been. Awe can be found in sightings of swallowtail butterflies, or the magic of snowfall, or that song that comes on the radio that feels like a loved one saying hello. Awe is in the gorgeous sunset that grabs our attention on the drive home after a long, hard day. Awe is life, slipping a note into our metaphorical lunchbox that says, "Hey, I'm still here. You got this. I love you." An important part of my daily practice is mindfulness and gratitude. With these practices, I work to bring my attention to the details of my life, to the themes that arise, and to the moments of awe and wonder and grace. It's possible that my attention throws meaning into situations where there need not be meaning. It's possible that the only meaning is the one that I create, and it's possible that my attention creates themes as my brain unconsciously searches for patterns. It's possible. But the importance of these small moments of awe lies not in their mere existence. Waves will continue on the beach. Butterflies will continue to fly. Music continues to be created and played. The importance is that we notice. David Hume says, "Beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them." Beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates praise them. The importance and the beauty and the awe exist because we notice it, and like most things we pay attention to, the more we attend to awe, the more it grows. But even when we don't fully pay attention, just knowing that beauty and awe exists around us matters. The child cannot truly ignore the notes in her lunchbox. She may hide them from her peers. She may pretend she doesn't see them or act like they're not there. She may not even read them, but they're there, and she knows it. And just the simple knowledge of their existence is enough. So why not open our eyes and lean into the beauty and awe and wonder? Perhaps, as Elizabeth Alexander writes in her poem, we sing the praise song of those ordinary things. Someone is stitching up a hem, darning a hole in a uniform, patching a tire, repairing the things in need of repair. Praise song for the struggle, she writes. Praise song for the day. I invite you now into a time of meditation. This meditation may be different than others you have done. For this meditation, you're going to need the raisins you hopefully received, either as you came in or during our opening music. If you don't have a raisin, I'm sure the person next to you will help you out. And for this meditation, you just need one raisin. You can have more later. As you get your raisin, I want you to take a breath in and out. Now I want you to take the raisin and hold it in the palm of your hand, or between your finger and thumb. Focusing on it, imagine that you've just dropped from Mars and have never encountered an object like this before in your life. Not all of us will be able to experience the raisin in the same way. If seeing or smelling or tasting is not accessible to you, know that my words are all only suggestions, and any way you encounter the raisin is beautiful. The only goal is to experience it deeply, and in new ways you have likely not experienced this item before. Take time to gaze at the raisin with care and full attention. Let your eyes explore every part of it, examining the highlights where the light shines, the darker hollows, the folds and ridges, and any asymmetries or unique features. Turn the raisin over between your fingers, exploring its texture, maybe with your eyes closed, if that enhances your sense of touch. Holding the raisin beneath your nose, with each inhalation, drink in any smell, aroma, or fragrance that may arise. Noticing any interesting sensations that may be happening in the rest of your body. And now slowly bring the raisin up to your lips, noticing how your hand and arm know exactly how and where to experience it. Gently place it in your mouth without chewing, noticing how it gets into the mouth in the first place. Spend a few moments exploring the sensation of having it in your mouth and exploring it with your tongue. And when you're ready, prepare to chew the raisin, noticing how and where it needs to be for chewing. Then very consciously take 1 or 2 bites into it and notice what happens in the aftermath. Experience any waves of taste that emanate from it as you continue swallowing yet? Notice the sensations of taste and texture in your mouth and how these may change over time, moment by moment, as well as any changes in the object itself. And when you feel ready to swallow the raisin, see if you can first detect the intention to swallow as it comes up, so that even this is experienced consciously before you actually swallow. Several times a year, I spend time in Chicago while taking classes at my seminary, Meadville Lombard Theological School. Last time I was there, at the end of the first week, I was exhausted and I had to write a paper. It had been a hard week, and I sat in the bedroom of my Airbnb just trying to form sentences, but I was just so tired. Consulting my phone for nearby coffee shops, I found Jackalope Cafe, 0.8 miles away. Perfect, I thought. That'll be a nice little walk, and most importantly, they'll have coffee. I don't know what I was expecting from Jackalope Cafe, but it definitely wasn't what I found. For the uninitiated, jackalopes are mythical creatures that are supposed to live in the western United States and are basically jackrabbits with antelope horns. So what I found was a little coffee shop decorated almost entirely in jackalopes. Small mounted jackalope heads with small antlers, huge statues of jackalopes with sweeping horns, paintings of jackalopes, actual stuffed rabbits with actual antlers somehow attached, jackalopes with fangs, and a skeleton riding a skateboard hanging from the ceiling. I sat in the cutout bathtub seat amongst the zombie pillows, and I tried to center myself to write this paper, but I soon found myself primarily eavesdropping on the patrons of Jackalope Cafe. There was a group of young people meeting to organize around a recycling effort in their community. There were two people talking about and supporting one another in coming out as transgender. There was a first date full of awkward silences and giggles. There were two folks engaged in Bible study and a man with a briefcase working diligently on a computer, all true. And across the room, there was a group of rowdy young adults, one of whom was wearing a 20-foot stuffed fuzzy snake like a scarf. When they left, her friend traced behind her, carrying the tail of the snake like the train of a wedding dress. And then there was me, the exhausted seminarian sitting in that bathtub couch filled with emotion. I held my latte, feeling the warmth in my hand and tasting the sweetness and jolt of caffeine. I looked around the brightly colored coffee shop that felt vaguely otherworldly, and the world just seemed so beautiful and ridiculous. It was hard to even really process. The world is amazing, I thought, and terrible. And in spite of everything, we are all here alone and connected. There is so much that is joy-filled, and there is also devastation and betrayal and loss, and all of us hold all of that. Every one of us. Me and the girl with the stuffed snake and the businessman in his suit and the beautiful trans folks to my left and that awkward giggling couple on their first date. And that feeling is a type of awe too, isn't it? In spite of everything, there is also the beauty of us, the complexity of us, the diversity of us, the power and the outrageousness, the creativity and grief and enormity of us collectively and individually is humbling and awe-inspiring and profound. I've been using that phrase a lot lately, in spite of everything. In our current world, so much happens in spite of everything, doesn't it? That alone is cause for awe. The fact that awe and wonder exist still, in spite of everything. 2:30 a.m., December 28th, 2017. I got a phone call letting me know that Emily, my smart, beautiful, vibrant 21-year-old friend who had been living with a vicious brain tumor for 18 months, had died. Several days later, I boarded a plane to fly to Chicago for Prospective Students Weekend at what is now my seminary, even though the heaviness of grief made it hard to breathe. As I waited for takeoff, I thought about the time I had spent with Emily and her family, from the time she was 8 years old helping me make mac and cheese to that very week, sitting with her in the hospice house. The man next to me on the plane nudged me. Annoyed to be interrupted from my music and my grieving, I removed my headphones. "My son," he said, "with all the effort and forethought it takes to communicate in a language new to you, my son has never seen snow. Can you take a picture? I want him to say, 'Wow, Dad.' The snow is wow." I looked out at the ever smaller snow-covered ground, wondering how the world can be filled with so much beauty and uncertainty and devastation. As I took pictures, something inside me opened. Or maybe the bottom fell out, or maybe it shattered, but there was suddenly a vastness inside me that now felt big enough to hold all that existed in that moment. The beauty of the world, the wonder at flying above it, the sweetness of the man wanting to share his amazement with his son, the grief and the heaviness. In that moment, there was an opening within me that created space for it all. There was awe, in spite of everything. In that moment, I found the note in my lunchbox, signed by life, that said, "There is still beauty here, you know, in spite of everything. I love you." Praise song for the struggle, Elizabeth Alexander writes. Praise song for the day. In today's sharp sparkle, this winter air, anything can be made, any sentence begun. On the brink, on the brim, on the cusp. Praise song for walking forward in that light. We're going to do one more exercise to experience wonder and awe in our interactions with each other. This time, I need you to find a partner. The person next to you is fine. And Amanda, can you please come up and help me to model this? We're not going to touch each other, but we are going to experience being deeply present with one another. We're going to allow ourselves to be fully present with the person next to us. When I say go, you will face one another and take 2 deep breaths together. Then slowly, without any verbal communication, one of you will lead a series of movements that the other person will mirror. Perhaps, if you're comfortable, you maintain eye contact with one another rather than looking at the movement. Regardless, we'll spend a couple moments together moving in